Hey there, did you ever hear about the time when Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, was bombed? Not just a little, but bombed hard by the British in the year 1807. It sounds scary and strange, right? Why would one country attack another city like that? Today we're going to take a fascinating journey back over 200 years to find out the real story behind the Copenhagen bombing. What caused it, what happened, and why it's such an important part of history. So get comfy and let's jump right in. What was Europe like back then? To understand why Copenhagen was bombed, we have to go back to a time when Europe was like a big chessboard filled with powerful countries. Around 1807, Europe was caught up in something called the Napoleonic Wars. Have you heard of Napoleon Bonaparte? He was a very famous and powerful leader from France. Napoleon wanted to make France the strongest country in Europe, and he was ready to fight to do it. But other countries, like Britain, didn't want Napoleon to win. They were his enemies and were always trying to stop him. Imagine two kids fighting over a really cool toy. That's kind of what Britain and France were doing, but with whole countries and armies. Denmark's tricky position. Now, Denmark was kind of stuck in the middle of this fight. It had a strong navy, that means powerful ships on the water, and it was friendly with France. Britain got worried. What if Denmark's navy helped Napoleon? That would make it harder for Britain to win the war. So, Britain wanted to make sure Denmark's navy stayed out of Napoleon's hands. This made Denmark's position very tricky. They didn't want to fight Britain, but they also wanted to keep their friendship with France. What did Britain want? Britain sent messages to Denmark. Please don't help France, we don't want to fight you, but if you give your navy to Napoleon, we will have to act. Denmark didn't agree to give up its ships. They wanted to keep their navy strong and independent. So Britain had to make a tough choice. They decided to take Denmark's navy by force before Napoleon could get it. The British attacked Copenhagen. In 1807, Britain sent a huge fleet of ships and soldiers to Copenhagen. Instead of just asking nicely, they attacked. They started bombing the city. That means they dropped lots of explosive bombs from their ships onto Copenhagen. The attack lasted for weeks. Imagine the city filled with smoke and fire, people running to find safety, and the sky lighting up with explosions. It was a frightening and dangerous time for everyone living there. How did the people of Copenhagen react? The people of Copenhagen were scared but brave. They worked hard to protect their homes and families. The Danish soldiers fought back to defend the city, but the British forces were very strong with many ships and cannons. Even children and families hid in cellars and basements to stay safe from the bombs. It was a tough time full of fear and worry. What was the damage? The bombing destroyed many buildings and homes. Churches, houses, and shops were badly damaged or burned down. The city was covered with smoke and ruins. It was one of the worst times in Copenhagen's history. Many people lost their homes and some even lost their lives. It was a sad and devastating event. What happened after the bombing? After weeks of bombing, Denmark had no choice but to give up. They agreed to hand over their navy ships to Britain so France couldn't use them. This was a big loss for Denmark because their navy was important to keep them safe and strong. But this event also showed how important the power of the navy was during wars in those days. Whoever controlled the ships controlled a lot of power. Why does this matter today? The bombing of Copenhagen teaches us important lessons about friendship, trust, and tough decisions during war. It also reminds us how people can be brave even during scary times. The city was hurt, but Copenhagen and Denmark went on to grow and become a wonderful place. Fun facts and questions. Did you know the British ships that bombed Copenhagen were some of the biggest and strongest ships at the time? The bombing made many Danes want peace even more. Copenhagen rebuilt after the bombing and became a beautiful city again. What would you do if your city was suddenly under attack? How would you feel? So, why was Copenhagen bombed by the British in 1807? Because Britain wanted to stop Denmark's navy from helping their enemy Napoleon, and the war was very serious. It's a story full of bravery, hard choices, and history that shaped Europe. Thanks for joining me today to learn this amazing story. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more fun history stories, and tell me in the comments what you want to learn about next. See you next time.